Hey everyone, Dr. Carrillo here without a mask. Thank you for coming to class online. I apologize that I could not make it to class. Unfortunately, it seems that I'm out of practice in terms of wearing high heels and stepping from my car to a curb in the city. I went to a wedding and basically I didn't twist my ankle. Oddly enough, I twisted the front part of my foot. I was gung-ho, I was going to come to class. I had my scooter ready to go from when I injured my foot before, so I was ready to use my scooter. But as I was driving to campus, it was just too painful, so I had to turn around. So I apologize not for having these videos ready to go during class time, but I couldn't make the videos until obviously after I came back from driving to campus. And I decided to just post them all at noon just to make sure we had a very clear, definite time as to when they would be available. Make sure you pay attention to the deadline that I have given you in the instructions for this online version of the day 21 session. I might have us meet online, or I might have you do the day 22 session online as well. Let's see how my foot is feeling. If my foot is feeling better, then I am going to meet you on campus. I have requested a room change to the first floor. Some of you, depending on which section you're in, we're already on the first floor. If you're in 168, we're going to be moving out of the auditorium into a regular classroom. It's likely to be somewhere around it's likely to be in the range of the classrooms numbered from 173 to 180. That's still in the W building. If you're in my section that meets in W260, then the range is the same in terms of what room we might be moving to. It's going to be in the range of W173 to W180. So just stay posted. I will let you know early Wednesday morning around 6 a.m. Whether we are meeting on campus and what the room change is, or whether we'll be learning online again for this week. But I do not foresee having to learn online, convert our on-campus learning to online learning. Keep in mind that this is going to count as in-class learning. This is not, even though it's not outside of the class, this is going to go towards your in-class learning grade because this is what we were supposed to cover, in class. So keep that in mind. Is there anything else that I want to say about this? No. You should have at this point, by the time you're watching this video, have printed a 3-page document. So I did post at the beginning of class that you would need to print a document. And the idea was that while you were still on campus, you could go to the library or computer lab and print out what you need to mark up. So the first page looks like this. It says a compatibilist account of free will from religion and the modern mind by W2 Stace. There it gives you his time of existence, at least in this realm. So then you should have 2 more pages that are formatted something like this. One thing I want you to keep in mind is that whatever I do on this page, you also need to do. I might tell you to do things that I don't do myself in writing, but I might verbalize things that you need to mark up or write down or whatnot, so make sure you're following all of that. When you are ready to submit your document markup and notes, it's very important to follow these instructions. I do not want you to scan your notes and then send them that way, because then it looks like you just copied notes, like you could have copied somebody else's notes. So what I want you to do is I need to see your handwritten notes in the original ink. And so it's pretty clear when somebody scans their notes in or uses a copier to post their notes. So I want you to actually take pictures of your document. Do not post as a Word document. Do not take a picture and copy and paste this onto a Word document. Just take a picture of your notes. Make sure that the picture is taking up, that this piece of paper takes up the entire screen. And so you're going to do 3 uploads, 1 for each document. So again, when you're taking the picture with your camera, make sure that this document takes up the entire screen of this picture. And make sure that you're taking the picture in portrait mode. So don't turn your camera sideways and this sideways to take the picture, because that makes it really difficult for me to grade because I can't flip the picture around. And so I'm contorting my neck and my foot's already contorted. So make sure that when you do take the picture that you take it in portrait mode, all right? And then upload the documents one at a time. So make sure that you do that correctly, because I think you'll only be able to upload 3 documents or 1 at once. And so, so I will have the thing set to the link, the submission link, it'll allow up to 6 submissions. So you can upload each page as its own submission. If you mess up, you have 6 opportunities to get the 3 pages uploaded correctly. But some of you might know how to, it might give you the capacity to upload 3 files at once, but if it doesn't, then you can just upload separately each page. So that's all I have about that. I'm giving you special permission to text me outside of office hours since I did have to make this change. So today, 11/8, you can text me between 12:30 p.m. and let's say 6:30 p.m. And then Tuesday, you can text me between, let's say, 8 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. If you have any questions or you run into a problem, it can be about what's due for this assignment or this learning or anything else. If I don't answer you, don't take it personally. I'm busy, I'm occupied, or something's happening. But that's all I have for you on that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just a quick little review before we actually start marking up the documents. The document that you should have printed, and again, see my instructions there for those of you who did not print the document. All right, so as you guys know, we're currently exploring the branch of metaphysics, the core concept of which is reality. As I've iterated before, there are many things that we could explore within metaphysics in terms of problems, issues, debates, theories, topics, concerns, and questions. We are focusing on the problem of free will, and so we have been dealing a lot with the concept of causality, as you know. The question that we've been exploring is, the pandemic question is, are we wearing a mask in Philosophy 1301 of our own free will? And a broader, more philosophical question is, can we ever do anything of our own free will? And of course, answering that question requires that we ask, well, what is free will? And so we learned about initially 2 kinds or concepts of freedom that have been put out there by philosophers, and that is the idea of circumstantial freedom, that's freedom from external constraints, obstacles, and natural limitations, allowing you to do whatever it is that you want to do. And then there's metaphysical freedom, which is the idea that the self is a creative force and original cause of things, that can be the original cause of actions, events, and stuff like that that can be caused by the agent independently of other causes. So those were 2 concepts. Now, as you know, I focused a lot on metaphysical determinism and making sure that you understood metaphysical determinism's thesis of universal causation. I want to iterate that the thesis of universal causation is an idea about everything being caused by prior causes that makes some particular event, feeling, or thing necessary, an inevitable result of said prior causes. It is not in and of itself a theory of free will. Please remember that. Please write that down if you haven't written that down yet. I'm pretty sure I've had you write that down somewhere. So during the last class session, we looked a little bit more at how a philosopher himself presented metaphysical determinism, and we saw how at the end of a passage, that is with de Halbach, he brings in his theory of hard determinism at the end. In other words, he says, here's what metaphysical determinism is, and here's the thesis of universal causation, and then based on that, in that original text we read, we saw that he infers from that theory of metaphysical determinism that free will is basically an illusion. We only pretend that we're having free will. So his hard determinism isn't stated until the very end. He infers hard determinism, that we don't have free will, from the thesis of universal causation. Now, that said, we're going to focus on a theory that agrees with the hard determinist agreement with the metaphysical determinist in terms of the thesis of universal causation. So think about it. Hard determinism, soft determinism. Both theories endorse the theory of of metaphysical determinism and its thesis of universal causation. But soft determinism, what Lawhead refers to as compatibilism in your reading, rejects the inference that the hard determinist makes from the thesis of universal causation to the idea that we don't have free will. The compatibilist says, the thesis of universal causation can be true, but we still think that that is compatible. It's still possible for us to have free will. And so we're going to look at what W.T. Stace has to say about that. How does he show or claim to show that the thesis of universal causation is compatible with having free will? Well, we're going to read his own words, just like we did with Descartes. to see what he has to say about a philosophical problem, issue, or debate. And so that's what we're going to focus on now and in the next 2 or 3 sessions before we take our Unit 3 quiz.